friends and family in our virtual space. Again, we are here this morning with an extension of Coffee with the Pastor. We like to call this the 8 a.m. word. And today, during the 8 a.m. word, we'll be looking into 1 Kings, the 19th chapter of 1 Kings, the 19th chapter of 1 Kings, and we'll be looking at verses 9 through 10. And there you will find these words in the Holy Writ. If he came thither unto a cave and lodged there, and behold, the word of the Lord came to him. And he said unto him, What doest thou here, Elijah? And he said, I've been very jealous for the Lord of hosts, for the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thy altars, and slain thy prophets with thy sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life, and to take it away. I just want to speak to you just for a few moments at this 8 a.m. word from the subject in a cave. Subject in a cave. We know that is after the New Year's, and this is the last Sunday or so after the New Year's, and we know that Christmas has already gone, New Year's has set in, and this is the time when we find that most people will experience a sense of depression or a sense of panic. We find that in this time it is filled with anxiety. We are in the midst of growing death tolls, inflations is depressing around us. The gas pumps are high, groceries are high, families are in disarray, children are in panic. There are troubles all over the land according to statistics. We are looking at the political landscape, and the byproduct of giving up for hope is finding ourselves trapped in the four walls of a lonely room and trying to make our houses into depressing chambers. Loneliness becomes an avant-garde for the day. Quiet becomes the blanket that causes people to become your phobia, and you are clinically and biblically and socially depressed. I come this morning to tell you that a cave is not for you. I come to tell you that it's not designed for you. It's not prepared for you. Even Jesus, when his dead body was placed into a cave, did not remain in a cave. Our text is an example of what happens when you get into a cave. Elijah, the prophet, the successful man of God, the Tishbite, a man of power and principle, has now found himself on the run from Jezebel. Jezebel was the queen of Ahab's castle, who has ordered a hit or death upon him. He has obeyed the voice of God when dealing a death blow to the prophets of Ahab and Jezebel at Mount Carmel. He has obeyed the voice of the Lord calling down fire from above. He has obeyed the voice of the Lord in the slaying of false prophets. But now Jezebel had decreed without legislative power that he must die. He must be eliminated. He must be eradicated. He must be destroyed. He must be aborted post haste. He must be erased. He must be taken off. He must be wiped out. And now the man who has listened and obeyed God time after time has now decided that he wasn't waiting for God this time. He was he's going to do his own thing, and he decides to run. He is suffering from a form of clinical depression and moves into a cave. Before we jump all over this poor prophet Elijah, there are some folks right now who have trusted God in most things, but you have not trusted God in everything. And when you stop trusting God and believing that God has a word for your life, you too are on your way to a cave. Can I go ahead and preach it this morning? If you believe him to feed you, you got to believe that he'll heal you. If you believe that he'll heal you, then you got to believe that he'll protect you. If you believe that he'll protect you, then you must believe that he'll provide for you. If you believe that he'll provide for you, then you got to believe that he will care for you. If you believe that he'll care for your children, then you got to believe that he will handle your enemies. And if you believe that he will handle your enemies, you got to believe that he'll help you handle your bills. And if you believe that he will handle your bills, then you got to believe that he'll feed you. You have to believe him in everything. The problem is that some folk will believe God to get you through grade school, high school, but you don't believe that God can get you through college. Some folks believe that God will get them a job and get them a family, but they don't believe that if the table turns upside down, they don't believe that God will give them a better job or a better husband or wife. Talk, Murphy. Elijah is in a cave. He's in a cave not because of divine command. Elijah's in a cave not because of divine directive. Elijah's in a cave not because God showed him a vision. Elijah's not in the cave not because God pressed him in his spirit. Elijah's not in the cave not because God quickened something within him. Elijah's not in the cave because God led him there. Elijah is not in the cave not because God gave him a plan. Elijah is in the cave. Elijah's in the cave because Elijah chose to be in the cave. Not only did Elijah chose to be there, but he wanted to be there. Can I go back and say it one more again? Elijah is in the cave not because it's not because of anything that God did. Elijah is there because Elijah chose to be there. In the Hebrew, the word used here is lun, which has three different definitions, but the definition here along with the tense means this. It means that Elijah set up his house and decided that unlike his past, he had planned to live in a cave. Imagine, if you will, Elijah has already decided where he will place his bed in the cave. Imagine, if you will, that Elijah already decided where his kitchen area will be. He already decided where his dining area will be towards the right, and the television and the PlayStation will be placed towards the left. The bathroom will be on the outside, located about 50 yards away by the stream. He placed a few photos on the wall to make it comfortable. Can I pause here parenthetically and tell somebody that sometimes you walk into the cave and you try to do everything you know to do to make your cave comfortable, but God ain't put you in that cave. He ain't tell you to get in that cave and get comfortable, and no matter how you fix it up, it's still a cave. I feel like preaching. My brothers and my sisters, please do not let your perceived problems run you into a cave. Don't let your enemies send you into a cave. Don't let your politics send you into a cave. Don't let your lack of popularity send you into a cave. Don't let your health send you into a cave. Don't let your children send you into a cave. Don't let your grades in school send you into a cave. Don't let your reputation send you into a cave. Don't let your lack of money send you into a cave. Don't let your troubles send you into a cave. cave. Don't let your husband send you into a cave. Don't let your wife send you into a cave. Don't let your doctor's diagnosis send you into a cave. Don't let your lack of good looks send you into a cave. Don't let your boo send you into a cave. Don't let your fellow church members send you into a cave. Don't let the people who try to help you turn against you send you into a cave. Don't let your lack of self-esteem send you into a cave. The cave is not where God called you to. A cave. A cave is a place where Elijah will feel like he was safe. For him, it was the safest place in the world. Oh, Elijah. And somebody that's listening to me this morning, the safest place in all of the world is not in a cave, but the safest place in all the world is being in the will of God. God can turn violent, virulent, and turbulent places into safe harbors. Y'all don't believe me? Let me tell you about. He turned the lion's den into a den of tranquility. He turned the fiery furnace into an air-conditioned villa. He turned the raging sea into a quiet vacation byway. And anybody here who knows that God can take your dangerous situation and your dangerous places and turn them into your safe places. I wish I had somebody that understood that Elijah prepared to live in a cave for a long time. And when God comes to him in the cave, he asks an interrogative question. He said, Elijah, what are you doing here? Maybe that's what God is saying to some of us in our lives today. God does not ask as someone who does not know. God is asking because he wants to make sure that Elijah investigated his own actions and his own motives. And after all, Elijah had just experienced victory after victory after victory through the power of God. Now the voice of God talks to the man of God in the cave created by God on a mountain of God and asks a question of God. What are you doing here? Can I ask somebody out there that's in the cave the same question that God asked Elijah? What are you doing here? Have you ever had God to show up in your cave and ask you that question? Why are you in this cave? I feel like preaching this morning. I mean, after all God has done for you, why are you at the casino? After all God has done for you, why are you still smoking? After God has done all he's done for you, why are you still hanging out at the club? After all that God has done for you and gave you in the courtroom, why are you still chasing someone who doesn't love you? After all that God has done for you and after all God protected you from, why are you still at home instead of at church? After all God did for you, gave you, protected you, loved you, died for you, buried for you, resurrected for you, why haven't you joined a church? Why are you sitting there in your sins rather than coming to Jesus while you got a chance? Somebody ought to shout and ask some questions. Pick up the phone and ask your neighbor, why are you in the cave? Elijah, man of God, why are you in this cave? Why are you setting up camp in the cave? Elijah, why didn't you trust me? Why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you try me? Look at you, Elijah. I just gave you power to call down fire from above, and now you cowering in a cave. Look at you, Elijah. I just allowed you to slay grown men who were guilty of prophesying falsely, and now you're hiding in a cave. Look at you, Elijah. I gave you boldness and power, and now you're hiding in a cave. Why are you here, Elijah? Elijah's answer is filled with half-truth and truth halves. He says, in essence, I've been serving you faithfully, God. I served you the best that I could. But those children of Israel, the nation of Israel, aren't serving you, and they have forgotten the covenant that you made with them. Why are you here, Elijah? Why are you in this cave? Elijah says, am I the only one, the only prophet left? And when they wanted me dead, they want me to take my life. Can I suggest to somebody this morning that you can't serve God from a cave? God never asked about his past experience. God is not concerned about your past experience. The only thing God is caring about is your present tense. So what are you doing for God right now? God is not interested in what you did 10 years ago. God isn't interested in what you did 30 years ago. That time has gone and passed. What are you doing for the Lord right now? What God is interested in here. And when God looks at Elijah, he sees him in a cave. I need to tell somebody to get up out of the cave. I need to tell somebody it's time to step out of your cave. God is giving you power. God is giving you post. Is there anybody out there that's ready to step out the cave and serve God? It's not time to be in your cave. Get out your cave. God did not put you in the cave. Am I right about it? Am I right about it? If you know I'm right about it, somebody say, God did not call you to the cave.
Ooh wee, what a word. Hey, continue to support us through your giving at coronepgh.org/give, or you can text to give at 412-910-1883. Use the password CoronePGH. You can mail your giving in to 7119 Frankstown Avenue, Pittsburgh, PA 15208, or you can even cash app us at $CBC7119. May God continue to bless you, and thank you for joining us today.